Hello, students. I hope all of you are having a great day and are excited to do some learning today. This is going to be a brief video about doing educational research. I know many of you probably have not done educational research before, and if you have, great. This can still just kind of be an overview of things that you need to keep in mind when doing educational research for this class and for your other graduate classes as well. So one of the things that is super helpful when I am doing educational research is knowing where to start. For me, as you'll see right here, I like to start with Google. I know that sounds simplistic, but I like to start. I like to test my keywords, and I like to see exactly what the field I'm looking up is, if there's changes in keywords, if the keywords are popular or not popular, because it kind of gives you an idea of what your research is going to look like. So for example, for a class about educational research or research in educational technology, I'm going to pick a content area just for fun to see what Google is saying about this. Educational technology in, let's do life science. Okay, so I get 2.1 billion results, so that's a lot. And if I kind of just scroll down, it looks like I can see there's going to be lots of journals, lots of university websites, things like that. So I'm like, okay, I feel like this topic has enough hits so where I'm going to move to a different platform and try that out. So I'm going to do Google Scholar. I always start with Google Scholar. You may have a different search engine that you like to use, that's fine. I love Google Scholar because it really gives a comprehensive look at what a field of research is kind of looking like that, and you can change filters and stuff like that. So we're going to do that. So educational technology in life science, right? Okay, so I've got 4.9 million results. That's way too many. So I know, okay, I'm really going to have to pare that down. Let's say I want to really focus on middle school. That's 2.8 million. Still a lot, okay? I want to look at specifically effective educational technology in life science. That's 2.2 million. Still a lot, but it looks like we're kind of getting down to a little bit more manageable number. Now, since it's educational technology, you need to keep your references current. That means 3 years. Google Scholar right now has a filter you can click over here on the edge, 2015, and that will take our results down to 18,000, which is very manageable. Because technology changes so quickly and research is always behind. It cannot keep up with the technology in schools. First you have a technology, then it's put in schools, and then we do research on it. I'm not sure if that's the way it should be done, but that's the way it's done. So I'm going to look at these, and I'm going to see, here's one about augmented reality. Pretty interesting. It's in eco-education. Here's one about, it's survey results for computers in education. Interesting, K through 12. That's not as much middle school, so I'm not going to click that one. Technology enhanced professional development in rural high poverty middle schools. That's about professional development. It's not really about what I'm looking for, which is effective technology. One-to-one laptop implementation. Interesting, but I don't see anything about life science in that. So do you see how I'm going through each of my results and seeing if they really match with what I'm looking for? Keywords are only as good as your ability to go through and check and see if your results match those keywords. Let's look at this one. Concept cartoons support a problem-based learning method in middle school science classrooms. That kind of matches, and it sounds pretty interesting. So I'm going to look at this document, or this article. It's in ERIC. ERIC is a good source of educational technology. It is also in, it looks like it's in a journal, Journal of Education and Learning, which is a credible journal. How do you know if a journal is credible? Most credible journals, you will find them in databases like ERIC, and if you look them up, in Google, you will be able to see if they're credible or if they've just been around like for a year and they're made up, basically. Okay, so I'm going to read the abstract right here, and it's talking about concept cartoons. So I'm kind of confused about this because I don't know if a concept cartoon is something that has to do with technology or not. It looks like there's nothing really about technology, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to find a different article to pick. Mobile apps for science learning, review of research. That is really a comprehensive article about what I was learning. Now, if you're on campus or if you're logged in with SFA through your browser, you can get full text in most articles, okay? Some you may not be able to, but if you're on campus, you definitely can. So this is called Mobile Apps for Science Learning, Review of Research. So this is a review of research about effective educational technology in middle school, which is exactly what I searched for. So I usually go down, read some of the highlights, and read the abstract just to make sure it's about mobile apps. Definitely what I'm looking for. I'm going to pick this article, okay? Oh, wait, is it in a reputable journal? Computers in Education, yes, definitely a reputable journal. So I've got my research article, I've read it, but I'm curious, I'm like, maybe there's somebody else that has also done something on this that I'm missing out. So let's say I go back to Google and I type in mobile apps for learning science in middle school. Oh, 17 of the best science apps. This is interesting. This might help me out with my research. And let's say I scroll down, and I find this list of apps. This is really cool. Some of them maybe overlap with my article that I just was talking about. I even find, let's see, a quote that I want to use. At last count, there were over 80,000 educational apps available to teachers. Well, guess what? This is not a journal. This is a news website. So when I'm doing research in EdTech, I can cite this, but it doesn't count as a journal. It only counts as a news website. So I can cite it in whatever I'm writing, but I just have to make sure that the teacher knows by my citation that it's not actually a journal, okay? It is just a news website. The research that we are doing in this class, you need to cite actual educational journal articles like the one that we just pulled up. For example, let's look at the PDF of this real quick. The authors are actual professors at an actual university. Professors and researchers write articles for journals. Sometimes they write articles for news websites, not as much. News websites are great for anecdotal information, but they are not great for research findings. Research findings come from research journals and research reports. So when I ask you, find a research journal or a research article, make sure you find one that is not a news website, not a blog. It can be a government report. Just make sure that it's not done by a government think tank, because that's very different, and sometimes they can be easily confused. Even I have gotten confused sometimes when I'm trying to look up government reports about certain things, and I come across a think tank report and it's made to look like the government did it. If the government actually wrote the report, it will be from a legitimate government website that is like .gov at the end of the website. So this is an example of a research article. Usually they're going to be between 10 and 35, 40, 50 pages long, depending on how long it is. Yes, it is your responsibility to read the whole thing if you are going to write a review of it. If you're going to summarize it, you have to read the whole thing to figure out what it's about. Most of the time in research papers, where you will find the findings or conclusion is at the end. That's where the researcher is like, okay, we're down to the end of this article. We really got to give the reader here an idea of what we found. And the conclusion area is a great place to find quotes, find like a summary of the research, and just to make sure that it really fits with what you're trying to talk about. Okay, how do you cite a research article? Let me just show you in Google Scholar. Let me show you something that I like to use, which is Google Scholar has this built in. See this little quotation mark right here? If you click it, it pulls up 5 different ways to cite your article. In this class, we're using APA. This right here is the citation. All you have to do is copy and paste. Sometimes I will tell you they're not right. They do need to be changed a little bit. I've really noticed it when it's a book. Google sometimes doesn't get it right because they don't include the location of the publisher. If you aren't using Google and you need to cite your article, you can go to the Purdue OWL is a wonderful website. I use them all the time when especially I'm confused like about how to cite a specific like news website, web page, videos, all that stuff. Their APA formatting and style guide is fantastic. Here's their reference list and in-text citations, which are really great. In-text citations, basically you put parentheses, author, year. If you use a quote, you have to put a page number right here like this. So I use Purdue OWL for a lot of my APA citations. So, okay, that's about it on research. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me, and good luck in your research.